The previous day, we took a bus from Kathmandu to Aru-ghat. It was a long, treacherous and arduous journey of 10 hours on the hills of central Nepal. Upon arriving the small town just before dusk, we still decided to walk for an hour to the next village of Arkhet Bazaar to make our camp. Today, about 7, Siris Dai and I are ready to rock and roll. We rechecked all the stuff we needed, bought a couple of extra batteries for our headlamp, and off we went on the trail. As we progressed on the trail, we noticed plenty of waterfalls on the hills across the Budi-Gandaki River and definitely walked through a few on the trail. I remember there was a section on the trail of a classic uphill stairs just after Sotikola, which I could see no more due to the construction of road that took over. We spoke to a handful of people along the way, conversating their lifestyle. Some hours had passed before I realized that I was actually doing what I had wanted to do. Walking across Nepal had been in my mind for some time now. I was happy, excited, and very nervous at the same time. It was happening and there was no turning back. And there was more waterfalls on the way. We arrived at Lapubesi, where we had our lunch, 4 packs of ramen noodles with soup and greens, which continued to be our lunch routine for the next 12 days. We took an hour-long break, much needed rest for day number 1. On the trail, we saw many mules carrying loaded goods up the valley, and many more returning with empty LPG cylinders. But this was soon to change as we saw construction of roads in process. They were carving the rocks up to Machakola for now. Plans were that they could run it up as far as to Jagat from the south. Roads have already been carved till Chekampar from the Nepal-China border in the north. The surrounding hills were thick with green forests. This area was also at a lower altitude, possibly the lowest in the high route of the Great Himalayan Trail, standing far below 1,000 meters above sea level. It was the month of September, still warm, humid, and very hot on the trail. After a long day of walking with about 20 kgs on the back, we finally arrived at Tatopani. There was a hot spring next to the hotel we stayed at. We washed ourselves in the dark, naked, and by the time it was finished, our dinner was ready.
How's it going?
Good.
Dal. Apa kali? With the ends.
Good.
Good to go. Chamal from Kathmandu, saag from local, dal quite
Gozo. It's amazing, man.
30 minutes into the hike, we crossed a bridge, and next to it was the old, worn-out memories of the people before us.
Yes, day number 3. We're walking from Tatopani to Doban, and this is the bridge where we need to cross to get to the other side of the hill. Yeah. Raging River, Budi-Gandaki. Yeah. Yataतिर chai mountains you cannot see. Yes. The weather is lovely. Waterfall. Yes. The weather is what? Yeah. The weather is lovely today. Yeah. Crossing the bridge. So far so good. Yesterday we walked about 10 hours all the way from Arkhet Bazaar to Tatopani. As of only 13 distance in Nebisar, so hopefully we reach film or maybe further.
Near the second bridge, we met these cute little kids full of sunshine and their beautiful faces.
Salmon. Bro.
Yabes. Manus. Regina. Unisa. Foto tinggal sini.
Foto. Foto.
Lah. Aja.
Hai mana?
Coklat kau dah, coklat.
Kita gara. Namaste. 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 Ke tiम्रो नाम? विपन्ना. तिम्रो? आज स्कुल छैन? छैन.
I had carried some chocolates for snacks, and Sirisdaya and I decided that we share some with the kids. Gorkha District was the epicenter of the 2015 earthquake in Nepal. We had to traverse many landslide areas. Although trails had been reconstructed, new bridges built, and steel walkways put together, it was still very, very dangerous. In Aru-ghat, we saw the widest opening of the Budi-Gandaki Gorge, which stretched only for an hour to the next village of Jagat. And there was more waterfalls, and this one was huge and beautiful. It fascinated me how people lived in small huts far up the hills, on the slopes, slanted at about 45 degrees. It was just crazy and amazing at the same time. This was a 250 meters long steel walkway attached to the rock wall above the river. The old trail had been washed away in 2015.
.35 in the morning, day number 3, 5 minutes away from Jagat, where we will be having our lunch. Amazing day, beautiful weather. We are entering Upper Gorkha. And there was a civil war enough 15 years ago. This place was occupied by the Maoists. As you can still see the communist signs your wall by a very remote place. And now it's a famous place for trekking. You can look at the communist sign right here. This is a wall from back in the days. It's still here. And you are entering the monastery conservation area officially. This is the main entrance for the national park.
We were now at 1400 meters above sea level in Jagat, where we took our lunch break. Following us was a man carrying about 10 pieces of blankets to sell in the hotels along the valley. He had already sold about 5 pieces the day before. His first home was in Dolpa. It fascinated me because I would be there in about 4 weeks. He would speak of harvesting Yarsagumba. We hiked through Saliri and Sirdibas before climbing up a hill to Philim, the district headquarters of Upper Gorkha. Makai.
We reached this village called Sirdibas village. There's some kind of festival going. Not really festival. Some marketing, some business dealings going on in there.
In these remote and harsh environments, every single member of a family must play a vital role in sustaining their livelihood, whether it's just a child or an elderly. We saw this kid carrying a basket of grass, a sheer size of load that literally engulfed her. And in the slope was her mother cutting the grass for the cattle. We needed to cross one more steel bridge which was long, but more tiring was the short and steep ascent up to Philim. At Philim we took a short break and had a bottle of Fanta each. It was just 4 in the afternoon, so we decided to walk. We saw small settlements on the hills across Philim, possibly Bangsing village, elevated at 1700 meters. The sun was setting. We were nearing 2000 meters at Gumpool and it was getting cold.
Today I think we're doing 11 hours. So today was more hike than yesterday. Hopefully tomorrow, we won't get to change.
The final waterfall was beautiful. Dal bhat with potatoes, the standard Nepali staple food served for dinner. And we were empowering ourselves after 11 hours of hike.
Yeah, the most anticipated meal of the day. In the morning we just had noodles, and now this is the proper meal, I'd say. And just homemade mula bazar.
The stars drifted slowly as we slept away the night. Good morning. Day number 3 on the trail. We're heading to Tsum Valley. It's been an amazing night sleeping here. Beautiful day. We started walking about 15 minutes before 8. The day was bright. We were yet to see some decent peaks due to the haze and the clouds that covered them all day long. Lots of ups and downs the gorge today, river crossings and dense forest walks. There was a couple of landslide area and reconstructed bridges. In Chumling, we craved for something more than just noodle soup. It was hot and humid, so we opted for sukha roti with curry and a bottle each of Mountain Dew. And we rested for an hour. Then it was a hike along this beautiful valley, lots of pine trees, agriculture land, cultivated grains, and birds to see.
तिम्रो नाम के हो? Krishna.
This used to be a camping or homestay trek, but it's been changing slowly to more of a tea house trek.
Get some energy. It's really hot, man.
The monsoon had passed, and there was one more harvest of agriculture to be made before the winter came in. The lush green landscape mesmerized me. As we were now reaching a high altitude, we were getting tired. It was getting cold as well, and we had to go slow and easy.
Arrived in Chekampar, very close, misty, foggy. We're here. I can see some houses 5 minutes away from here. Yeah man, mist and fog. It's getting cold. 16th of September, 5:40 in the evening, around 3,100 meters above sea level. It's been a great day. Another 10 hours of walking. It's 2 bars. For good luck, I can hear the sound of the running water. And arriving at Chekampar. Yeah, houses, right? It's good.
Rwanda.
6 in the morning, 17th September. We stayed in a hotel last night in Chekampar, and this morning I'm heading towards Mogompa by myself. Cyrus Dai is staying back, a rest day for him to explore the village around here. But me, I'm heading forward to Mogompa. Might take about 4 hours from here, and looking forward to the day. It's a beautiful morning, no wind, clear. You can see the mountains. This is the way ahead, and there are views of the mountains in the back.
For the first hour of the day, the valley was quiet and peaceful. There were some animal movements and sound of birds to be heard. People were starting to work on their agriculture, and it was a vast valley.
Alright, we are approaching Lamagao at 7 o'clock. It's a nice valley, flat land, lots of farming. You can see cows, horses. People are already starting to work in the field. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you can see behind me there's flat land as well. Fields, amazing place. I believe that's a monastery.
Coming up to Lamagao, I recognized a kid from years back. February 2015, my first trek here in Tsum Valley.
You have to eat a little bit. Eat? Yeah. Okay. And this also. This is, yeah.
Mez.
आज अब हाम्रो नयाँ बच्चामा है
नयाँ वर्ष आजदेखि
नयाँ बच्चा लाएर अब 7 दिन भयो नयाँ बच्चामा आज सबभन्दा अगाडि आज तपाईहरु आए त्यही भएर मैले स्वागत
We are here in New Year. We are the first.
So we're the first visitors.
Yeah.
मलाई नि राम्रो होस् है तपाईहरुले नि राम्रो होस् भने मैले स्वागत गरे
Hi. Asiri. You gotta go. Smile.
For me? Do you watch us lean forward? Down your bed.
This is the 5th day and I am in Bulji, Lamagao in Tsum Valley. It's 8:47 a.m. in the morning and I think we'll be staying here for the day. Once again, birds. Can you see the birds? It's cold. Nice experience, man.
It was in the height of winter, so I could not go further from Lamagao. Today the trail was clear and everything was new to me. I was nearing Chule after walking along the Siarkola. There was more farmland, huge valley, caves and lots of monasteries to see. The land had been cultivated really well. This was at 3,200 meters above sea level. It just fascinated me. Settlements spread across an hour distances and in between lay massive farmlands. There was many chotans and money walls along the way. It was just beautiful.
I just asked the lady who was washing the clothes across the river the way to Mugompa, and she said follow the path along the river, do not cross the bridge there. The sign in there showed that you need to cross the bridge, but the lady told me to walk straight and you'll be reaching Mugompa in about 1.5 hours.
Apparently there was 2 trails. The bridge connected to the Nile village and you could walk to Mugompa from there as well. It was much wider trail, cut possibly for the vehicles. At 11, I was at Mu. The picture beyond contained of the road that led to the Chinese border and the hills that sustained passes over 5,000 meters. I found the door of the main Gompa closed, so I walked around it, sat there a while, intaking the beauty of the surrounding landscape before heading down. Walking down the same trail was not easy. It felt like forever. It took me more time coming down due to my sore muscles. I have now been climbing up and down the valley, mostly upward, for the last 4 days, for 10 hours daily, and it was taking a toll on my legs. I met more small kids along the way, more people, and their inbreeding of yaks and cows. There were a couple of monk caves situated on the hills along the valley, one of which was Milarepa Cave in Lamagaon, which I visited in my last trek. Milarepa Caves are all across Nepal. He was a monk from Tibet on a journey on foot ages back. His shelters are now place of worship and Buddhist history. He definitely was the first to traverse these mountains.
Good morning. China.
We're leaving the village of Chekampar and heading down to Dumje, from where we will be going uphill again for 3 to 4 hours to Langdang Gompa to see Ganesh Himal. Yeah, it's been a good time here in Tsum Valley. Serious day in the back. Yeah. Serious, yeah. Sun shining. Amazing. Yup. That's about it. See you along the way. The sun was up, but the peaks were still covered with clouds. I just got stung by a plant and I'm having these bubbles in the right hand. I'm not really sure what to do with this. It's not itchy now, but all these bubbles may or may not create trouble for me throughout the day. We will see. It's not looking good. And now we are entering the landslide area. It's crazy. I'll take you there. We both had sore leg muscles, so that made downhill even more difficult. The old trail had vanished under the landslide years back. This section was quite shaky with drops of hundreds of meters to the Sherkola below. At Go, we took a new trail towards Dumje because we planned to hike up to Langdang Gompa to see Ganesh Himal.
Peace, Kratha. Peace out, man. Peace out. What? Yes, my boy right here. What's your name, bro? What's your name?
The day was still very cloudy. We were not sure if there was any Ani living in the Gompa, and we had not carried food, so we ditched the plan. But we were still walking the new trail on the way down to Ripchet and end the day in Gompul once again. This side of the hill had narrow trails, perhaps because it was less used. It had less settlements of people. The sun didn't shine much as well. The forest was dense and wet.
This is Tsum Valley. We came from the left. There's a trail going up this way, which leads to Gompa Langtang.
Take the trail on the right once you cross this bridge. We followed the more visible trail on the left, which only had us backtrack an hour. It made us climb through this wet and narrow trail that became more and more suspicious. From here it was 3 more bridges to Ripchet.
That's the trail we took 2 days before, all the way to Chekampar from Chumling. That's somewhere around there is Chumling. Ripchet is the villages across the river on the opposite hill on this side, and that's where we're heading today, taking a different route on the way down. Now the bridge.
Hotels were under construction in Ripchet, although it had many houses. We decided to skip lunch and continue with our hike, sharing a bottle of Mountain Dew.
We are in Lokpa, Tsum Valley, 2,000 meters above sea level.
Our room was under this rock wall, from where bits and pieces of rocks fell every now and then, and it was scary. Day number 5 on the trail, and we have arrived here near Gompul. This is a newly built hotel where we stayed about 2 nights earlier when we headed to Tsum Valley, and we are back again here for the night. And this will be the final day for the Tsum Valley trek. Tomorrow morning we'll be heading on the trail across the river on this hill, which you can see right there. There's a bridge you need to cross 15 minutes down from here. There's a point where a trail comes up to Tsum Valley, and if you cross the bridge you go towards monasteries, and that's where we're heading tomorrow morning. And yeah, 5 days to finish the Tsum Valley trek, and we're looking forward to another about 8 or 9 days of trek to finish the Arkhet Pass and all of the monastery circuit. Yeah, so far it's been amazing here. This is a field, man. Vegetables. That's the kitchen. Yeah, we can smell our dinner already. Dal rabat smells amazing. We'll take you there later, after an hour maybe, when we have food, and that will be the last time you will be seeing us in the Tsum Valley trek, and tomorrow morning we go to monastery. Here we are just outside in the porch of our room. That's our bed. This is me, this is Serious Dai.
Hello people.
Let's not advertise the channel, let's look at this drying our clothes.
Welcome to me. Oh my god. What is? Yeah, I'm drinking this lemon tea. It's very long anticipated. We haven't had anything since morning. we just had coffee. One bottle of Mountain Dew. It costs like 200 rupees, which is quite pricey, and we thought we'd share one. So yeah, I'm just oh my God. Yeah. That's it. I'm reading this book.
Across the river was a hill that turned into a gigantic dark structure when the evening came. Good morning everyone, day number 6 on the trail. This will be the final 20 minutes for the Tsum Valley trail, Tsum Valley trek, because now we're heading across the river towards the monastery circuit in about 30 minutes, and right now we're having our breakfast, some lemon tea, and I think this is like Tibetan style bread. Yep, complimentary, complimentary by the Sauni. Yeah. And we'll see you at the Tri-Junction down there, and where we will end this video for the Tsum Valley trek and begin our monastery circuit. Alright, see you there. Yep, we arrived here at the end of Tsum Valley trek, a round trip to Tsum Valley. This is the Tri-Junction. We just came up from this trail, and we're now heading down this trail towards monastery circuit. Yeah, this place is called Gompul. We just came down from Tsum Valley. Now we're heading to Arkhet Pass towards monastery down this way. Yeah. So yeah guys, this is the end of Tsum Valley trek, and we will see you in monastery. Alright.